I missed y'all. We back. I'm back again. I'm gonna try to do this more often. Try to come back to the stream world. I've been bullshitting, trying to. Well, ain't been bullshitting. I can't say bullshitting, but I've been trying to just stay on my routines, and sometimes streaming don't really fall into my routine. So I'm gonna try to do this more often though, because I appreciate everybody be watching. I see y'all still watching my VODs after I get off and shit. So I appreciate that. And yeah, I want to get into Bible study real quick. I haven't been on it in a while. I've been slacking, so we need to get back on that. And then get into some more of these fucking YouTube videos, some reactions, and see what's been going on, what they've been posting about in the world. More aliens and more government bullshit. Oh, I wanted to show y'all some shit I found out about the JFK assassination and all type of shit. I meant to show y'all last stream, but I smoked too much weed, so I forgot. But it's all good because we're gonna get it today. Shit's crazy when y'all see this shit right here. Y'all about to be like, damn. Let's get into it. I believe we was on Luke. I don't know what chapter. What the hell am I spelling? Shit. Let's type in chapter 5. Go from there. About right.
Luke 9. Jesus called together his 12 apostles and gave them complete power.
Shit, let me get my headphones on. It's always something. Alright, let's get to it.
Over all
What the?
demons.
Okay.
And diseases. Then he sent
Let's
them
get
to
it.
tell about God's kingdom and to heal the sick. He told them,
Don't take anything with you. Don't take a walking stick or a traveling bag or food or money or even a change of clothes. When you are welcomed into a home, stay there until you leave that town. If people won't welcome you, leave the town and shake the dust from your feet as a warning to them.
the apostles left and went from village to village, telling the good news and healing people everywhere. Herod the ruler heard about all that was happening, and he was worried. Some people were saying that John the Baptist had come back to life. Others were saying that Elijah had come, or that one of the prophets from long ago had come back to life. But Herod said,
I had John's head cut off. Who is this I hear so much about?
Herod was eager to meet Jesus. The apostles came back and told Jesus everything they had done. He then took them with him to the village of Bethsaida, where they could be alone. But a lot of people found out about this and followed him. Jesus welcomed them. He spoke to them about God's kingdom and healed everyone who was sick. Late in the afternoon, the 12 apostles came to Jesus and said,
Send the crowd to the villages and farms around here. They need to find a place to stay and something to eat. There is nothing in this place. It is like a desert.
Jesus answered,
You give them something to eat.
but they replied,
We have only 5 small loaves of bread and 2 fish. If we're going to feed all these people, we will have to go and buy food.
There were about 5,000 men in the crowd. Jesus said to his disciples,
Have the people sit in groups of 50.
They did this, and all the people sat down. Jesus took the 5 loaves and the 2 fish. He looked up toward heaven and blessed the food. Then he broke the bread and fish and handed them to his disciples to give to the people. Everyone ate all they wanted. What was left over filled 12 baskets. When Jesus was alone praying, his disciples came to him and he asked them.
What do people say about me?
They answered,
Some say that you were John the Baptist or Elijah.
Or a prophet from long ago who has come back to life.
Jesus then asked them.
But who do you say I am?
Peter answered,
You are the Messiah, sent from God.
Jesus strictly warned his disciples not to tell anyone what had happened. Jesus told his disciples,
The nation's leaders, the chief priests, and the teachers of the law of Moses will make the Son of Man suffer terribly. They will reject him and kill him. But 3 days later, he will rise to life.
Then Jesus said to all the people,
If any of you want to be my followers, you must forget about yourself. You must take up your cross each day and follow me. If you want to save your life, you will destroy it. But if you give up your life for me, you will save it. What will you gain if you own the whole world, but destroy yourself or waste your life? If you are ashamed of me and my message, the Son of Man will be ashamed of you when he comes in his glory and in the glory of his Father and the holy angels. You can be sure that some of the people standing here will not die before they see God's kingdom.
About 8 days later, Jesus took Peter, John, and James with him and went up on a mountain to pray. While he was praying, his face changed, and his clothes became shining white. Suddenly Moses and Elijah were there speaking with him. They appeared in heavenly glory and talked about all that Jesus' death in Jerusalem would mean. Peter and the other 2 disciples had been sound asleep. All at once they woke up and saw how glorious Jesus was. They also saw the 2 men who were with him. Moses and Elijah were about to leave when Peter said to Jesus,
Master, it is good for us to be here. Let us make 3 shelters, one for you, one for Moses, and one for Elijah.
But Peter did not know what he was talking about. While Peter was still speaking, a shadow from a cloud passed over them, and they were frightened as the cloud covered them. From the cloud a voice spoke,
This is my chosen son. Listen to what he says.
After the voice had spoken, Peter, John, and James saw only Jesus. For some time they kept quiet and did not say anything about what they had seen. The next day, Jesus and his 3 disciples came down from the mountain and were met by a large crowd. Just then, someone in the crowd shouted,
Teacher, please do something for my son. He is my only child. A demon often attacks him and makes him scream. It shakes him until he foams at the mouth, and it won't leave him until it has completely worn the boy out. I begged your disciples to force out the demon, but they couldn't do it.
Jesus said to them,
You people are stubborn and don't have any faith. How much longer must I be with you? Why do I have to put up with you?
Then Jesus said to the man,
Bring your son to me.
While the boy was being brought, the demon attacked him and made him shake all over. Jesus ordered the demon to stop. Then he healed the boy and gave him back to his father. Everyone was amazed at God's great power. While everyone was still amazed at what Jesus was doing, he said to his disciples,
Pay close attention to what I am telling you. The Son of Man will be handed over to his enemies.
But the disciples did not know what he meant. The meaning was hidden from them. They could not understand it, and they were afraid to ask. Jesus' disciples were arguing about which one of them was the greatest. Jesus knew what they were thinking, and he had a child stand there beside him. Then he said to his disciples,
When you welcome even a child because of me, you welcome me. And when you welcome me, you welcome the one who sent me. Whichever one of you is the most humble is the greatest.
John said,
Master, we saw a man using your name to force demons out of people, but we told him to stop because he's not one of us.
Don't stop him,
Jesus said.
Anyone who is not against you is for you.
Not long before it was time for Jesus to be taken up to heaven, he made up his mind to go to Jerusalem. He sent some messengers on ahead to a Samaritan village to get things ready for him. But he was on his way to Jerusalem, so the people there refused to welcome him. When the disciples James and John saw what was happening, they asked,
Lord, Do you want us to call down fire from heaven to destroy these people?
But Jesus turned and corrected them for what they had said. Then they all went on to another village. Along the way, someone said to Jesus,
I'll go anywhere with you.
Jesus said,
Foxes have dens and birds have nests, but the Son of Man doesn't have a place to call his own.
Jesus told someone else to come with him, but the man said,
Lord, let me wait until I bury my father.
Jesus answered,
Let the dead take care of the dead while you go and tell about God's kingdom.
Then someone said to Jesus,
I want to go with you, Lord, but first let me go back and take care of things at home.
Jesus answered,
Anyone who starts plowing and keeps looking back isn't worth a thing in God's kingdom.
Luke 10. Later, the Lord chose 72 other followers and sent them out 2 by 2 to every town and village where he was about to go. He said to them,
A large crop is in the fields, but there are only a few workers. Ask the Lord in charge of the harvest to send out workers to bring it in. Now go, but remember, I am sending you like lambs into a pack of wolves. Don't take along a money bag or a traveling bag or sandals. And don't waste time greeting people on the road. As soon as you enter a home, say, God bless this home with peace. If the people living there are peace-loving, your prayer for peace will bless them. But if they are not peace-loving, your prayer will return to you. Stay with the same family, eating and drinking whatever they give you, because workers are worth what they earn. Don't move around from house to house. If the people of a town welcome you, eat whatever they offer you. Heal their sick and say, God's kingdom will soon be here. But if the people of a town refuse to welcome you, go out into the street and say, We are shaking the dust from our feet as a warning to you. You can be sure that God's kingdom will soon be here. I tell you that on the day of judgment, the people of Sodom will get off easier than the people of that town. You people of Chorazin are in for trouble. You people of Bethsaida are also in for trouble. If the miracles that took place in your towns had happened in Tyre and Sidon, the people there would have turned to God long ago. They would have dressed in sackcloth and put ashes on their heads. On the day of judgment, the people of Tyre and Sidon will get off easier than you will. People of Capernaum, do you think you will be honored in heaven? Well, you will go down to hell. My followers, whoever listens to you is listening to me. Anyone who says no to you is saying no to me. And anyone who says no to me is really saying no to the one who sent me.
When the 72 followers returned, they were excited and said,
Lord, even the demons obeyed when we spoke in your name.
Jesus told them,
I saw Satan fall from heaven like a flash of lightning. I have given you the power to trample on snakes and scorpions, and to defeat the power of your enemy, Satan. Nothing can harm you. But don't be happy because evil spirits obey you. Be happy that your names are written in heaven.
At that same time, Jesus felt the joy that comes from the Holy Spirit, and he said,
My Father, Lord of heaven and earth, I am grateful that you hid all this from wise and educated people and showed it to ordinary people. Yes, Father, that is what pleased you. My Father has given me everything, and he is the only one who knows the Son. The only one who really knows the Father is the Son. But the Son wants to tell others about the Father, so that they can know him too.
Jesus then turned to his disciples and said to them in private,
You are really blessed to see what you see. Many prophets and kings were eager to see what you see, and to hear what you hear. But I tell you that they did not see or hear.
An expert in the law of Moses stood up and asked Jesus a question to see what he would say.
Teacher,
he asked,
what must I do to have eternal life?
Jesus answered,
What is written in the Scriptures? How do you understand them?
The man replied,
The Scriptures say, Love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, strength, and mind. They also say, Love your neighbors as much as you love yourself.
Jesus said,
You have given the right answer. If you do this, you will have eternal life."
But the man wanted to show that he knew what he was talking about. So he asked Jesus,
"Who are my neighbors?"
Jesus replied,
As a man was going down from Jerusalem to Jericho, robbers attacked him and grabbed everything he had. They beat him up and ran off, leaving him half dead. A priest happened to be going down the same road, but when he saw the man, he walked by on the other side. Later, a temple helper came to the same place, but when he saw the man who had been beaten up, he also went by on the other side. A man from Samaria then came traveling along that road. When he saw the man, he felt sorry for him and went over to him. He treated his wounds with olive oil and wine and bandaged them. Then he put him on his own donkey and took him to an inn where he took care of him. The next morning, he gave the innkeeper 2 silver coins and said, "Please take care of the man. If you spend more than this on him, I will pay you when I return."
Then Jesus asked,
Which one of these 3 people was a real neighbor to the man who was beaten up by robbers?
The teacher answered,
"The one who showed pity."
Jesus said,
"Go and do the same."
The Lord and his disciples were traveling along and came to a village. When they got there, a woman named Martha welcomed him into her home. She had a sister named Mary who sat down in front of the Lord and was listening to what he said. Martha was worried about all that had to be done. Finally, she went to Jesus and said,
"Lord, doesn't it bother you that my sister has left me to do all the work by myself? Tell her to come and help me."
The Lord answered,
"Martha, Martha, you are worried and upset about so many things, but only one thing is necessary. Mary has chosen what is best, and it will not be taken away from her."
Luke 11.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna try to hop on tomorrow so we can finish the rest of this chapter. Not the rest of this chapter, but continue this story. But oh yeah, I want to show y'all. Okay, I want to say a prayer before we go tap into this shit, because this is some. This ain't like it's in the open. Niggas know now, but it's like I'm spreading the word about some not so open information, like information that people don't really want to be widely spread. So I'm just gonna say a prayer for positivity and keep peace and positivity in my mind as I'm going through this. But if you join in, feel free. Lord, thank you for this day. Thank you for giving me the strength, the courage, the guidance, and the words. Thank you, Lord, for this day. Thank you, Lord, for this day. Thank you for showing me what I have to see in order to show others what's been hidden from us, things that we want to know, things we ask for that have been hidden from us that now have been brought to light. And I thank you for giving me the opportunity to be able to see these things and show others that might not have the opportunity to see these things in any other way. I ask that you cover us through this journey we call life. No matter what negative forces, no matter what evil spirits, no matter what the devil conjures on us, I pray that you give us guidance. I pray that you show us your way, Lord, and I pray that you keep us positive in your light and keep us covered in your blood, Lord, in Jesus' name. Amen. All right, let me get to this. So, I'm trying to figure out where it was at. Where did I save it? In the playlist. Oh yeah, smart
It
man,
marks
smart man
60
Caleb.
years since former President John F. Kennedy was assassinated while driving through downtown Dallas. It is
Okay, so I think I want to show this one last. Yeah, okay, I want to show this one first. All right. So look. Now, this is some shit. I ain't gonna lie. So, viewer discretion is advised if you are not mentally prepared to witness gore scenes, because this is the president getting shot in his head, and it's pretty vivid, but this is what our government allows, and I'm gonna show y'all who actually shot the president, because there was all skeptic and theories about this CIA agent who sniped him from the window, and that wasn't the case. I even heard another story, I think I have to find it, of this dude that was in prison that said that he was a part of the plot, that the mob hired him, and he shot him with the single round action pistol or something like that from the gate on ground level, and he thought he killed him, and that wasn't the case. And here it is who actually killed this man.
This version tracks the limousine and maintains President Kennedy and Governor Connally at center
That's
frame.
crazy, bro.
This version is only in slow
I'm
motion.
gonna have to slow it down. It's slow, but I'm gonna have to slow it even more. So after he passes this, he gets shot the first time. He gets shot in the back. And the shot, they say, at first, the theory was that he got shot in the back and that round hit the guy in front of him, which was the governor of, I think they were in Texas. Yeah, they were in Dallas, I believe. So I think he was the governor. But they said the trajectory of the shot, it would have been impossible for that shot that hit the president, the first shot in the back, to have hit that dude in the front. So there was another bullet that shot that man, which my theory was the sniper was a shitty ass shot, and he shot the president in the back. And the orders was, from everybody I've heard say, like even the guy that I said that was in prison that said he thought he shot the president, he said that the orders were for it to be a headshot, clear headshot, make sure there's a headshot no matter what. So when the sniper shot and missed, the dude on the ground's orders was to make sure it was a headshot, and he said he was losing his shot of opportunity, so he took a shot at his last shot to take a headshot, and he said he got it at bullseye, but somebody shot the president before he got that shot off, because he said he noticed the president hunched over, and he didn't know why, and he just shot. And right at that direct moment, I'm gonna show you what happened. So right there, the president gets shot in the back. And then look at the driver. Watch the driver. Look back to see and shoot. Boom. Did you see that? Did you fucking see that? Look at this shit. This shit is crazy. Look at this shit. This is his fucking Secret Service driving this car. This is a Secret Service member. Supposed to be protecting him. Now watch him look back to see the president didn't get shot in the head. That was the orders of everybody trying to kill him. He didn't get shot in the head, so he had to take him out. And that was the hunch over. The guy on the ground said he seen him shoot. Like, I mean, before he shot, the guy on the ground, before he shot, he said he seen the president hunch over, and that was from getting shot from the driver. He didn't know the driver was in on it, because he didn't know who else was in on it but him and the sniper. This shit gets deep, bro. Watch this shit. Look. He looked back. He seen that he wasn't shot. Boom! Bro, let me slow it down for you niggas. This shit is wild. Look, he looked back. He's like, oh shit, he's not shot in the head. Boom! Nigga. Look at, she's like, oh my god, what the fuck? Because she knows that they said that she was trying to collect his brain fragments. Does that look like she's collecting brain fragments? His shit is gone. His shit just flew everywhere. She's trying to get away from the driver. She's like, oh my God, this nigga just killed the president in front of me. Like, nigga. She heard that shot right in that car, bro. She knew exactly who shot her husband, bro. She probably fucking scarred for life. And they probably telling her that she didn't see what she seen. And, bro, there you have it, bro. There you have it. You seen it for yours. You seen that was the raw footage. You seen that shit, bro. And they chopped it. I heard back in the day when this shit first happened, so you couldn't see that part of the video. There's some evil forces out here in this world, bro. And although I believe once you pass away you'll be alright, it's just fucked up to have to go through unnecessary bullshit. But people be peopling. That shit's crazy. Alright, so let me see what this one was.
In the wake of the Kennedy assassination, the Dallas police, on the one hand, they were committing
See, this is
resources.
the so-called sniper they said that sniped him from the window, the CIA agent. But the nigga missed. He shot the nigga. He didn't kill him.
On the other hand, they were ill-equipped to handle this tsunami of reporters.
Well, I was questioned by a judge. However, I protested at that time that I was not allowed legal representation.
In bringing Oswald out, they were, of course, doing something that you would never see happen today. But they were trying to cooperate with the press with the understanding that there would not be questions shouted at him.
Did you kill the president?
No, I've not been charged with that. In fact, nobody has said that to me yet. The first thing I heard about it was when the newspaper reporters in the hall asked me that question.
You have been.
Nobody said what? Sir?
You have been.
Nobody said what? Okay, we can't hear you. Okay.
What did you do in Russia?
What the?
It marks 60 years since former President John F. Kennedy was assassinated while driving through downtown Dallas. It is a historic event that has fueled theories and conspiracies for decades about what exactly happened.
But now with modern technology, an engineering and animation lab has found something new that they say proves the single bullet theory is wrong. True crime correspondent Brianna Whitney is here now to show us what the lab found, and this could alter history.
It sure could. This could be a big deal. The Warren Commission, who investigated the assassination after the fact, found the bullet that first struck President Kennedy is the same bullet that then went through Texas Governor John Connally, who was sitting in the front passenger seat of the limousine. This is widely known as the magic bullet or the single bullet theory. But this lab claims after years of research, the same bullet hitting both men is scientifically impossible.
President and Mrs. Kennedy, a warm welcome. The usual welcoming committee presents Mrs. Kennedy with a bouquet of red roses.
November 22nd, 1963, hundreds lined the streets of Dallas to see JFK and First Lady Jackie O.
The President's car is now turning onto Elm Street, and it will be only a matter of minutes before he arrives at the trademark.
Then, one of the country's most famous tragedies, President Kennedy shot twice by Lee Harvey Oswald.
It appears as though something has happened in the motorcade route. Something, I repeat, has happened in the motorcade route.
Walter Cronkite coming on the air.
President Kennedy died at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time.
The Warren Commission was tasked with investigating and presenting the findings of the shooting. They found JFK was shot twice from behind by Lee Harvey Oswald from the 6th floor of the Texas School Book Depository, and that the bullet that struck John F. Kennedy in his neck is the same bullet that struck and went through Governor John Connally, who was sitting in the passenger seat in front of JFK.
The analysis that we've gone through so far is that those can't be the same bullet. They don't align. We can't make Governor Connally's position match.
Stanley Stoll is CEO of Knott Laboratory, a forensic engineering and animation lab who was hired by a former Justice Department attorney to re-examine the single bullet theory. They took laser scanners to Dealey Plaza, then brought it back to their computers, and the data they collected from the lasers are tiny points, millions of them, to make a point cloud.
It's a digital twin. It's bringing the field to your computer, you know, the exact replica of whatever you wanted to scan. Everything used to be two-dimensional, and what you saw on camera may or may not be accurate. Now you can truly analyze it.
They then took the infamous Zapruder film that has the clearest video of when John F. Kennedy was shot and matched it to their point cloud, and everything was matching up perfectly until the Texas governor was shot too, reportedly by the bullet that went through the president first.
What through the evaluation comes to show is that those aren't in line. Governor Connally, his wound is sitting 6 to 10 inches towards the outside of the vehicle. You have to slide Governor Connally to the inside of the vehicle. You have to slide him to the left to get that alignment.
Based on those findings, Stoll says you have to look at a new hypothesis that there was a second bullet. The question, from where? One person with inside knowledge of the government investigation believes there was another bullet too. Sammy the Bull Gravano was questioned by the FBI about this after he became a government informant for the mafia.
I know what it is to kill someone. You don't bounce and come this way. When you bounce and come this way, you got hit in the front with a bullet, another one.
So you think JFK was struck from the front?
It was, you can see it. That went in, and that's from the grassy knoll.
Sammy said he is sure, however, there were no mafiosos on the grassy knoll. Stoll says while their lab doesn't know where the second bullet came from, their technology and visualization is ready for ballistics experts to analyze just that.
Okay, here's where our science ends. Okay, now everybody else, law enforcement investigators, those people that are fantastic at that, now come in and use our information and see what you think.
Stoll says Knott Laboratory welcomes any and all feedback from the public after listening to and viewing their scientific findings and evidence. Their lab is also hoping after getting their findings out in the media, they'll be able to meet with the federal government about what they found.
Fascinating there. And for decades, it has always been interest for so many people. So if people want to just delve into this even more, is there a way that they can?
So we're working on a podcast episode. It's coming out on...
Now watch this shit. This thing is
shot the man who allegedly shot President Kennedy, shocking an already stunned and grieving nation. So what ultimately happened to the assassin's assassin? On the morning of November 24th,
okay, yeah. This is the nigga that thinks he shot JFK. True assassination of President JFK after 3 years of disappointing dead was received a tip and expected agent remains anonymous. Files 17 murder. For the next 2 frustrating years, attempts were made to bring an interview to the public. This finally led to an agreement for nationwide TV program. As the program being prepared, the consultant became involved based on its input. The program was suddenly canceled for reasons that have since been proven to be untrue. Also, reputable JFK researchers have confirmed that The consultant was solidly connected to the Central Intelligence Agency, CIA. Upon his retirement in 1998, the FBI agent who had given the original tip on James decided to come forward. His name is Zach, who worked organizing crime 28 years and an incapacitated service record with the financial support of Dutch businessmen. Offered to proceed new investigation, either provide assistance over 10 years FBI colleagues. Okay. While the FBI has officially declared James to be not credible to findings, colleagues shown otherwise. Efforts files, blah 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 blah. Second and last interview. We now present interview. Blah blah blah. Yeah, this is all lies though, but it's not really lies. He's telling the truth because he believes it, but he didn't actually do the shit. He didn't actually kill the nigga, so it's like this is just his point of view from what happened that day. If we ever get to it, Jesus.
When Joe West first originally contacted me here at Stateville Prison, I was on a visit. The counselor came in the visiting room where I was at and stated that she wanted me to come out and make a phone call. I told her, I said, no way. I'm here 365 days a year. I'm not leaving my visit to go make a phone call. I said, who's calling? She told me, someone from Texas named Joe West. I told him, I do not know the party. I said, tell them I'll call them on my time, not their time. I'm on a visit. Don't bother me when I'm on a visit. The next day, they come got me out of my cell. They took me downstairs and got a phone call hooked up. I called Joe West to talk to him. I told him, you have 3 minutes to convince me why I should talk to you. As Joe started talking to me, I told him, I said, whoa, stop. I said, you're on a lot of touchy spots. I said, these phone calls are recorded. Every phone call going in and coming out is recorded. If you want to talk to me that bad, then I suggest you come and visit me. Joe West had me put him on his visiting list. He come up to visit me. He spent 2 days up here talking with me. The first day, I wasn't even talking about the Kennedy situation. We got into sports, weather, generally about prison, local things till I got comfortable with him. The next day, after I thought it over all night, Joe seemed like a pretty nice guy. I really liked Joe. He had a magnetism about him. The next day, we sat down, we got serious, and then we started talking. I sit in the dining or in the visiting room with Joe. They gave us a pencil and paper. I sketched the entire D.T.A.S Plaza out for him without any maps, without any pictures, nothing present. And I explained to Joe at that time, because Joe wanted to know where was I at. And I said, I'm going to put an X on the paper to signify me, but this X is not in the correct spot. I said, when the time comes, then I will put the X where it is supposed to be.
What had you told him to know that you were on D.T.A.S Plaza?
Pardon me?
What had you told him that Joe knew you were on D.T.A.S Plaza?
Well, I asked him. He said that someone had informed him that I was there. He said he had a reliable source. And I didn't know for quite a while who that source was. It was quite some time later before I learned the fact that the FBI was aware of my presence as early as 1964. But I never knew that anyone ever knew about me. But Zach Sheldon, from what I understand, and I'm only quoting this from hearsay, that Zach is the one that stated and gave me to Joe West the information on me, that I was in D.T.A.S Plaza.
That's my understanding.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever actually confess to taking a shot to Joe West?
No, I never did.
Make a statement.
That is,
I never.
Well, the whole thing is, like with Joe West died. He passed away, never knowing that I was one of 2 shooters there in D.T.A.S Plaza that day. Joe West never knew I was on the grassy knoll.
Do you have any thoughts on his death? Do you think that was natural?
Joe West went in for heart surgery, and from what I was told and what I understood, that he had come through it fairly well, and he was on the road to recovery. But then I was informed there was complications with his medicine. He was allergic to it, or an allergy or something. He saw that they killed him. The medication killed him. A couple of years ago, maybe a year and a half ago, I heard through a grapevine, and I won't go into the party that brought this information to me. They said that someone had tampered with Joe's medication, and he had received the wrong medication because they wanted to silence him.
That's with his wife.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why would they want to silence him?
We had, I shouldn't say we, I would say Joe West had the case in court. He wanted to exhume John F. Kennedy's body. And that's what he was fighting for. And at this point, when I talked to Joe West, I explained to him that John F. Kennedy had been hit in the head with a mercury round, a special load. At this point, I explained to him, he can use this in the courts to have the body exhumed because there would still be traces of mercury, because the traces of mercury do not disappear. It'll always be there. And so this is what Joe West wanted to go back with more evidence and use this to get Kennedy's body exhumed, to look for traces of mercury.
And the court had accepted his case.
The court had accepted his case. But with his death, the case died.
Do you feel like your memory is as good today as it was, say, 10 years ago?
No, I do not. It's not that good. My memory as of 10 years ago was a lot more alert than what it is now. It's not that I'm just getting old and senile, but it's the conditions of prison, the conditions that we live under. Our water here, when people come in, and I'm sure you would advise not to drink the water from here, to buy bottled water. I've been drinking this water for the past 12 years with radium in it, so is every prisoner here. We wasn't aware of the water situation until Oliver Stone come along to make a movie here. But when he made his movie here, we see all these people from the movie company running around carrying bottles of water. Even the officers that worked here, they got suspicious. And that's when we started finding out this water's unhealthy.
This was an aside, you know, sodium fluoride is what they put in even the city's water supply. That's what the Nazis put in their water supply in those concentration camps to keep everybody pacified.
Yeah. Well, they keep us pretty well pacified, and they really kept us pacified since we went on about a 10-month lockdown, and they took the prison back and run it under their order now. And I mean, this place is really maximum control now. There's no movement here at all to speak of.
Did you actually meet him with Oliver Stone?
I met Oliver Stone 3 times. Matter of fact, I have a paper that Joe West, not Joe West, but Bob Vernon had Oliver Stone sign. Now, Bob Vernon come in after the Joe West deal. Bob Vernon took over for Joe West. Bob Vernon met with Oliver Stone, and he had him sign an agreement where they wanted to get me on film, but I refused to do that. I met with Oliver Stone 3 times.
And you never told him your story?
No, I did not tell Oliver Stone my story. I refused to discuss it with him. And like I said, I've got a copy of this. I got Oliver Stone's signature. Bob Vernon is the only signature on it. It states what it's all about. The only thing missing is my signature, because I would never sign that paper for the agreement.
Why was that?
I didn't like the man.
Case closed.
Case closed. And if you'd like, I'd be more than happy to send you a copy of the document. And it's got Oliver Stone's original signature on it. And it has Bob Vernon's signature on it.
Well, I've got a raft of questions, but I'll tell you what, let's just go back to, and just let's go in chronology. Just tell me your own account again. You understand what we're really doing here is because the interview you gave Bob Vernon is kind of tied up in all kinds of legal stuff, right?
Yes.
And to help you and Pam, we're redoing this thing so that we can put that aside and move on. So this is redundant, but let's move on. Go back to when you first learned that there was a plot to kill Kennedy, and then just bring us forward into how it all came about.
Excuse me. The first time that I knew about anything being planned on Kennedy, well, I'd heard a lot of rumors that nobody liked Kennedy. They wanted to kill Kennedy. They wanted to assassinate him. They wanted to do everything to the man.
Were you kind of upset with him yourself over the Bay?
Oh, I was upset with him over the Bay of Pigs, but I never paid any attention to any of this at first because, you know, everybody talks. Somebody gets mad at somebody right away, and I'm going to take this guy out. I'm going to take that person out. Woo, 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 woo. You know, a lot of barking, junkyard dogs barking, you know. But I was sitting in the Harlow Grill that evening playing the pinball machine, not the flipper kind, the kind with numbers where you gamble on and you put about $10 in to play a game. And Charles Nicoletti walked in. Man that I did a lot of work with, man that I respected. And he walked in the back room where I was at, says, "Jimmy, let's go." I said, "I'll be with you in a minute." He reached over and tilted the machine and said, "Let's go now." My reply was, "Yes, sir, Mr. Nicoletti." I knew he wasn't in no mood to wait and hang around. He said, "I want to talk to you." I went out, I got in his car, and we went for a ride. And we made it a basic habit not to sit around restaurants, talk, reels, discuss anything like that with other people hearing. And we went for a ride, and he told me, he says, "We're going to do a friend of yours." And I said, "Jesus, what the hell did he do now?" But I thought this was referring to one of my friends in town there. He'd been robbing the pinball machines and the cigarette machines, and he had a $1,000 a day heroin habit. And he was an all-out now junkie, and, you know, they'd beat him up several times and everything else and threatened him, but so far they'd never went as far as to kill him. Chuck laughed at me, and he says, "No," he says, "not him." He's talking about President Kennedy, JFK. And I looked at him and I said, "What?" He says, "JFK." He says, "Your buddy." I said, "Well, he just busting, you know, giving me a hard time, but he knew JFK. He knew how much I disliked the man." But I looked at him and I laughed. I said, "Okay, fine with me. You get in arguments there." And at this point, I still kind of thought, you know, he was just joking with me. But then he got real serious about it. And then we started talking, and he told me, he says, "What I'm going to want you to do," he says, "I'm going to look around." He says, "We'll search the area around the town here." He says, "You know everything pretty good." He says, "And see where we're going to do it at, what kind of weapons we're going to need, and other things like that." He says, and he mentioned, he said he was going to bring Johnny Roselli in on it. Fine with me, you know, I don't care who we work with. You know, I like Johnny. I had no problems with him. And originally we'd planned to do it in the Chicago area, but certain people didn't like that idea. So then we put it off, and this is like 6 months before the assassination ever really took place.
But you were not supposed to be using your
Oh, no, never. I was not a shooter. I was, let's put it this way. I would like, you know, to go for, I go for this, go for that, pick this up, pick that up, run around, drive him around. When Chuck went somewhere, I was always with him. And
did you ever get wind that the Secret Service might have found out about the plot in Chicago?
No, I didn't get no wind on that at all, no drift. I just knew that certain people high up in organized crime, they wasn't too happy about the idea of having something like that happen to that magnitude in their backyard. Because they figured Bobby would really be down there, you know. They already had their own little private wars going. And So we decided, well, we'd take a move it. So I had no idea it was going to Texas at that point. This come to me down the road.
About when was that?
Well, I'm going to say probably 2.5, 3 months maybe before I ever made the trip to Texas that they were talking about it. Because they didn't know where he was going to go. They were looking for an area to go. But then they had heard that he possibly may take this trip to Texas, but there was nothing definite. And I didn't go to Texas until that had been confirmed. And they had several different locations. There was New Orleans, and I don't know, there's other places he was going to. But when it come down to it, I had been told there was places that they had planned to do it. Other people had been authorized, you know, stuff like that. Just different rumors you hear. How much credibility is to it, I cannot say. But when the time come, and we knew that it was going to be serious, and we were going to, Chuck was sending me to Texas, that's when I went down on Belmont Avenue, the old Valley place where they made the pinball machines. And I had a shed down there, place where we, back room, that was all owned by the outfit too, pinball machines. I kept a catch of weapons down there. We used to do a lot of work, and when I say we, I'm referring to a party named Wolfman, who is now deceased. But at that time, he was excellent, remodifying weapons, manufacturing loads, whatever come down to handguns, rifles. This guy was a professional at it. He could manufacture things in his basement like you wouldn't believe, from silencers on down the line. He did it all for him. So I went down there, got the stuff we needed, and we had the one car that he just bought.
These niggas are
We had
psycho.
everything secured in. We had secret compartments in it. And every car that we had, even before the 63 Chevy, even in the 61 Ford that we had prior to that in the 62, we had compartments in the dash where you could reach up under it, open things up, put grenades in there, handguns, whatever we might need. Behind the back seat, we had gun racks in the cars. We had pull-off door panels that would snap off. We could put them back on. We had handguns.
This is the shit you hear about in the movies, like, for real. Like, these Italian mobster niggas, they really be on some shit. Like, this nigga had a fucking artillery guy. This nigga built artillery in his fucking, what do you say, pinball or paint, whatever the fucking shop. Nigga, that's crazy. This nigga's building silencers and all type of weapons, bro, in the shop.
And stuff in there,
crazy,
whatever you might need. But we always had a work car ready.
So what did Wolfman do for you?
Wolfman, when I contacted him after all this went down, and this is several years later, this is when I first met Joe West, and Joe West had come here, visited me, we talked, and he asked me, he said, do you think this party called Wolfman would talk to me? And Joe asked me what his real name was, and I told him, I said, I won't divulge that, but I will call him and talk to him. So I called him on the phone, and I told him, I said, I'm talking to Joe West from Texas, and he wanted to know who Joe was, and I explained all this to him, and I said, Joe would very much like to interview. I said, I did not give Joe West your name, but I told him that you was the one that manufactured the special round. You made 6 rounds for me to take to Texas, all mercury loaded. He said, he wants to talk to you very much. Will you talk with him? And he said, get back to him. He said, I'll let you know. He said, I want to check a few things. The following week, Wolfman was dead.
How did he die?
I believe he had a heart attack. I've been in contact with nobody that was affiliated with Wolfman since that date.
Tell me about these mercury loads. Can you describe them for just a layperson?
Well, it was a 22 round, and he took the tips out. He drilled them out. Then he inserted with an eye drop, he put mercury into the end of the round, and he resealed them with wax. This is to make them explode on impact.
Okay, so now you've got, and just describe the car.
The car was a 63 Chevy 2-door Burgundy, Chevy Impala.
With the special compartments.
Oh, we had special, yeah, we had the special compartment dash. We had the back seats, you could take that off, pull the bottom part out, then you raise the back up, snap it off little clamps, take that out. We had the springs removed in the, behind the seat there by it. We had little racks welded in there so we could mount weapons in there.
Okay, so now you got your weapons, you got your loads, you got your car. How did it come together after that?
Well,
nigga, what?
Final instructions was Chuck Combs.
This is some movie shit, boy. These niggas really trying to murk
I want you on a
niggas,
highway
bro.
with a lot of traffic during daytime.
Pray
where
for
nobody
y'all
pays any
soul,
attention
bro.
to you.
Hope y'all have fun. Shit.
I don't remember the parts of the day, but I went down
It
like
was
a week
worth
before the
it.
assassination. I want to say I was in that Dallas, in the Dallas area 5 days before the assassination took place.
And what was the purpose of that?
The purpose of that was for me to go to Dallas, look over the area, learn dead-end streets, railroad crossings, time for train crossings. They already knew the regular motorcade route that he would be taking, and they had already looked that over, and they wanted to see if there's any better places, and a lot of people had already decided on it. I'm not the one that chose D.T. Plaza, but I was told to look it over very close and look and see if I thought there's any other place better. And I did the whole area from the route they had all the way through. I had Lee Harvey Oswald with me.
All right, go back now. So about a week ahead of time, I think it was Monday, as I recall.
Something, I'm not sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you left Chicago. Just start. You left Chicago. You went to.
No, I didn't leave on a Monday. I left on I left either Thursday morning or Friday. I don't remember which. I know I was in Mesquite, Texas, Saturday morning. Okay, but that's when Lee Harvey Oswald showed up at the motel where I was at. I arrived there on a Friday. I'm pretty sure it was Friday when I arrived there.
You call anybody when you got to Dallas?
I made 2 telephone calls when I got there. I called Charles Nicoletti, told him that I was on the scene and where I was at in case he had to reach me. I turned around and made another phone call. I called David Atlee Phillips. I had a number to call. The call was put through to David Phillips, and he was notified where I was at. because I had not told him in advance that I was going to Dallas, Texas.
And why did you call David Atlee Phillips?
Because he always had to know where I was at because he was my controller.
For?
CIA purposes, special operations, or something that might be needed done.
And you were supposed to stay in contact with him?
We always stayed in contact. We had numbers to call.
What happened after that?
He said, thank you, and let it go at that. We didn't have any great discussion on the phone. I told him where I was at, the location, and through David Atlee Phillips is the only way that Lee Harvey Oswald could have known where I was at. But I'd called no one else. I made 2 phone calls.
Where were you staying?
I was staying at the Lamplighter Inn right there in Mesquite, Texas.
And then the next thing you knew, Lee Harvey Oswald.
The following morning, Lee Harvey Oswald was there. When he knocked on the door, I opened the door and I was shocked to see him because I didn't think anybody knew where I was at except the other 2 people.
Why is Phillips the only one who could send Lee Harvey Oswald?
Because Charles Nicoletti had never met Lee Harvey Oswald. He did not know him.
You say you were shocked to see him, but did you know Lee Harvey Oswald?
I had known Lee Harvey Oswald prior to that, yes.
How did you know him?
I know him from earlier operation that we was on with David Phillips when I was running semi-automatic 45 caliber submachine guns down to Clinton, Louisiana. They were made, I think they were manufactured by Knoxville Arms. They were not the old Thompson. They looked like a Thompson submachine gun, but they were not Thompsons. They were only semi-automatic. And they were very cheaply made.
And how did you meet Lee Harvey Oswald?
I met Lee Harvey Oswald through David Atlee Phillips. When I got down there, he introduced me to Lee.
Is it your understanding that Phillips was also Oswald's CIA contact?
I learned that when I was down there. That is the first time he introduced me to Lee Harvey Oswald, and he also instructed me that Lee could be trusted and that he was Lee's controller.
He did as a statement.
He made it as a statement because I wanted to know who we was dealing with and who I was giving weapons to.
I need you to make a statement that I was introduced by Phillips, and who was my CIA handler, and I was told that he was Oswald.
We didn't call him handlers back then. We called him controllers.
Okay.
Okay. David Atlee Phillips, he introduced me to Lee Harvey Oswald. And upon doing this, he also explained to me that he was Lee Harvey Oswald's controller, the same as he was mine. That he was all...
Right back. Pro tip for you newbie smokers, you know, when you smoking woods and they harsh, wet them bitches and then dry it off. Get all that extra shit off, extra tobacco and bullshit off. It just don't be as harsh when you smoke, you know. And when you wet it, it don't burn as fast. Pro tip.
Always in contact with Lee Harvey Oswald.
So that's how you know that that's where the word came for Oswald to come meet you in Dallas.
So that, your common sense tells me the only one that could have sent Lee Harvey Oswald to me was David Atlee Phillips. And when I opened the door and Oswald was there, I was kind of shocked to see him because I didn't know that he knew I was there. And so I asked Lee, I says, what the hell are you doing here? Because I was shocked, you know. He said, I was advised to drop by and spend some time with you and see if I could help you out. I said, help me out? He said, yes. He says, somebody wants me to show you the area. And I said, okay, just come on in. So he come on in, so we sat down, we talked, and I said, I'll be with you in a few minutes. And I was young and cocky at that time.
From
I
the
just come out of
wood.
the shower and everything, and I was combing my hair, so actually I had a camera there, so I told Lee, hey, make a couple of pictures while I'm here in Texas. And so Oswald made a couple of pictures of me, and then he said, let me have the film, I get it developed. I said, no. I said, I get the whole roll of film. So that was how I got a couple of pictures made that people have recently asked me about. But,
whose camera was it, yours or
my camera.
Your camera.
Yeah, but he was going to take the film, turn him in, and get it developed. But I said, no.
Didn't want to let that film go.
I do my own work.
How did he arrive at the motel?
He rode driving Blue Falcon, Ford Falcon.
You remember what year model?
No, I don't. It wasn't brand new, it was a couple of years old.
So he could drive?
Yes, he could drive. When he met me in Clinton, Louisiana, he drove up in a, I want to say Chevrolet truck. It could have been a Ford. I'm going to say pickup. It was a pickup truck. Let me put it that way. It was an old pickup truck. And we put the weapons in the back end of it and pulled a tarp down over the weapons.
What color? Do you remember what color pickup?
I believe it was green. It was a real, I don't know, dirty, yucky green, whatever you want to call it. Darker green, like, you know. It hadn't been washed in a long time, and there's a lot of rust on it. That's about the best way to describe it.
So did you and Lee Oswald drive around Dallas then?
We drove around Dallas. Lee Harvey Oswald and I, we drove around Dallas Provided up till right before the assassination. I did not see Lee Harvey Oswald on the morning of the assassination. But prior to that, Lee Harvey Oswald had been with me every day. We drove around, he showed me different streets, different areas. He was the one that took me out to the place southeast of Mesquite there, next to a big junkyard. We went out in the field. He said, ain't nobody going to bother you out here, because I wanted to calibrate the scopes, not only for the fireball, but for other weapons as well. And while I was out there firing weapons and ejecting shell casings, Lee was picking them up and holding them in his hand. Because I didn't want to leave no casings or nothing behind, and I'm busy firing, so I looked at Lee, grab them casings. And that's what he did. He picked them and he held on to them. So we got released. I calibrated my scopes, set things up, put the stuff back in the car, and we got back in. We went riding around, and I wanted to know the railroad crossings. I wanted to wait and see what time trains come through. I want to know if there's any passengers, if there was freight trains, they stopped, track's going to be blocked, intersection's going to be blocked, dead-end streets, construction work, where every intersection was at, where all the lights were at, how long the lights were, they stayed red. I wanted all these little details.
Did anybody show up or give you any static while you're out there sighting those weapons?
No, nobody. When I was test firing the weapons, nobody at all even come out there looking.
White people put all this energy into killing niggas. Imagine if they put all this energy into helping niggas. This shit crazy, bro. There's a lot of energy to kill a nigga. I wanted to know every detail to murk this nigga.
And there wasn't any housing, nobody real close by. We're off the main highway there. And like I say, it was just, nobody come around, nobody even cared.
No, I remember back then we'd go out on Turtle Creek, shoot turtle, and nobody cops, nobody showed up.
How much time were you together during the day?
We was out there test firing. We were test firing weapons for approximately, I'm going to say 20, 30 minutes. But during the day, we probably spent anywhere from 5 hours, 6 hours together.
All the time he told him working in Texas
no. He worked in the book depository stores, what he told me. I was never in that place. But he had time off to come out and spend time with me, and then I would drop him off in the area, and he would go somewhere, and I guess that's where he went. I had never asked him where he went, what he done, who he's from.
So it needs to be a couple of things.
Yeah. Okay, so it gets to be, say, Thursday before the assassination. How did it all come down?
That Thursday, I went on back to the motel. I dropped him off that afternoon. I went on back out to the motel to get some rest. And the following morning, I had gotten a message that I was supposed to call Leo at the, it was the Dallas Cabana. And I called over there and answered the phone to Leo because Mr. Nicoletti didn't want his name used. I knew he'd come in late. I didn't know when he'd come in. I didn't know how he got there. But when I come in, I was told to come over there and park, and that Johnny Roselli would come down. He wanted me to drive Johnny Roselli to Fort Worth. I pull up out front and waited. He come down a few minutes after I pulled up. I never went to the hotel, never asked for anybody. He come down and come outside because he knew I was en route. And I drove from there to Fort Worth, Texas with Johnny Roselli in the car.
So that was Mr. Nicoletti went with you?
No, Mr. Nicoletti did not go.
Just Roselli?
Just Johnny Roselli went with me to Fort Worth.
Did you know Johnny Roselli prior to that day?
I had met Johnny Roselli before. I'd met him in Florida, Miami.
Any jobs with him?
Never any jobs with him. I talked with him and around, but we never, we were probably involved in some of the same operations or things, but with the same people, but we never went out and did anything together.
Were you aware that Roselli was working with the government in anti-Castro?
Yes, I was well aware of that. He was, I was well aware that Johnny Roselli was involved in the government actions. He was like the license between CIA and organized crime, and he was heavily involved in the invasion of Cuba, Bay of Pigs, Chianos Bay, whichever you prefer to call it. But he was also very tight with Frank Sturgis. Frank Sturgis headed up the SAO, which is the secret army organization, what this is all about. And they've had so many different code names for wanting to kill Castro, I couldn't even name half of them. But every time you turned around, somebody had a new operation going. But
I'm sorry, did you ever hear Mr. Roselli as called colonel, or did he have any military credentials?
I don't remember what the total name was. I know he was called Colonel once in a while. I can't remember the name of it. I know he was called Colonel. But that was, as far as I know, Johnny Roselli never held any rank of any kind. But, like I say, he was involved heavily with the CIA. He was licensed between them. What his actual part was, I don't know, but I know he was heavily involved with them and all through that.
I think it was Ralston, and Colonel.
Yeah, Ralston, that's it. Colonel Ralston. That's what they call him, Colonel Ralston.
Okay. So, tell us about the trip over to Fort Worth.
The trip over to Fort Worth? Well, I didn't know we were going to Fort Worth. He told me, and he had directions, and I don't know if he'd ever been there before or not. But we went through Fort Worth. I remember the exit was, we got, well, when the exit really was like University Avenue or University Boulevard. The name University, that's all I know. And I know it was on the south side, and then it sit on the west side of that street. Just a couple blocks off, and there was a pancake house. Fairly new one.
It was still there?
No, I didn't know it was still there, but it's been there long. I guess they made good pancakes, I know that. But that's where I had my first Belgian waffle.
Why did you go all the way to Fort Worth?
And excuse me, I got to clarify one thing. I didn't have a Belgian waffle that morning. I had the Belgian waffle there a few years later. But that morning when I got there, Johnny Roselli went there to meet somebody by the name of Jack Ruby. I had never knew Jack Ruby, nothing about him. When I got there and pulled into the parking lot, Johnny Roselli told me, he said, let me go in first, see where I'm going to sit, come in, position your stuff. And he asked me, he says, are you carrying? And I said, yeah, I'm carrying. He says, good. He says, when I sit down where I'm sitting at, he said, I don't know what may transpire. He said, something could go wrong. He said, but be very alert. He said, keep my backside covered. He said, I won't be in your line of fire. And I said, okay, I pick up hope and feel the fire. I said, wherever I figure I can handle it. I said, I'll go sit down, I'll come in position myself. Johnny Roselli went in and they had like, you'd call it a booth at the table sitting there, you know, it wasn't bolted to the floor or nothing. But he sat down in that, and I went in shortly right behind him. I positioned myself at the counter, ordered a cup of coffee, was served, and sit there. And then I sit there and I watched until short, stocky built man come in, walked over, Johnny got up, they shook hands, they sit down, they talked for a couple of minutes. I seen him take like a half size, like a legal envelope, but only half that size, out of his jacket, and he pushed it across the table to Johnny Roselli. He got up, they shook hands, this man left, Johnny waited maybe 2 minutes. Johnny looked at me, I got up, I walked out of the restaurant, made sure the area's clear, nobody outside in the parking lot. I went over, got in the car, started up, I pulled up by the door, Johnny Roselli walked out, got in the car, and we drove away.
Did you ask him, or did you find out in some way what was in the envelope?
On the way back to Dallas, Johnny and me was riding down the road. He didn't open the envelope right away. We got almost, I think it's Arlington, it's about halfway there. I'm saying halfway, it could be less one way or the other. Been a long time for me. But we was right about Arlington. And Johnny opened the envelope up, started taking stuff out and looking at it. Excuse me. He's looking at it, I'm noticing over, I'm watching over while I'm driving. And he's got these little black wallets, like half side.
I kill people, but I have manners. Excuse me. What the fuck? I killed the president. Excuse me. Part of me, though. Gazoom tight. Like, what the fuck? This thing is guts, bro.
Like identification wallets, and they open them up, and there's identification plates on them, and there's badges on them. At that point, I didn't know what the identification on it was, because he's sitting there looking at it, and I'm not going to lead over. I'm not going to say, give me one of those or anything like that. I'll wait when they want me to know, he'll tell me. And then he opened up a piece of paper and he unfolded it. And there's been a lot of discrepancy over this part now. But Johnny Roselli said they only made one change in the route. And it was a map of Dealey Plaza, the motorcade route. When he looked at it for Dealey Plaza, he said they've only made one alter, one change in it. He said, that's all. And I said, what's that? And he said, they're going to go down Elm Street. So they're going to stop and make a detour, come around this little street here. And he held it up, and I kind of glanced over at it, but I didn't get a chance to look at it real good at that point. But I already had reconned the area, so I knew what he was talking about. And I know everybody says, well, the matter that they had the motorcade in the newspaper weeks and months ahead of time. True, they did, but they didn't have that one change. And anybody wants to show somebody a newspaper clipping, they better check it real close, because the original route, they was not coming down Elm Street there on that little detour where they had to slow down.
Had you heard prior to that when they got to Dealey Plaza that they would just continue straight on down Main Street? Was that the idea?
The original plan was that we'd be shooting at a fast-moving target, and Nicoletti had no military experience, and I already had advised him that he would have to shoot high and the target would be going away from him, that he would have to shoot above the head. And we were going for a headshot. And I told him, it's going to be hard for you to get from there. And we're getting a little bit ahead, though. Before we got into this part,
let's go back.
Because Chuck hadn't got to Dallas that week. He only come in, I'd seen him that morning. I hadn't seen Chuck in person until I went with Johnny Roselli to Fort Worth and come back. Johnny Roselli got out of the car, went upstairs, Charles Nicoletti come down. Mr. Nicoletti got in the car with me, and we drove to Dealey Plaza.
All right, back up half a second. How did Roselli get to Dallas?
At that point, Roselli, he mentioned to me, Johnny Roselli, we was on the way to Fort Worth. And I asked him, when did you get in? He said, I got in this morning. He said, I got in early this morning. He said, I hadn't been here a couple hours. And I said, how'd you get in? And he said he got lucky. He caught a ride on a plane that's sponsored by the Central Intelligence Agency, the CIA. I said, how the hell did you manage that one? He said, I got lucky. He's had somebody there. I didn't ask no more. He didn't elaborate any more than that. I didn't dig any deeper than that.
He didn't mention the abort team at that time.
Not at that point. So we got all that. Now then, when we get back, I still don't know that he's there on an abort mission. I have no knowledge of that at this point of the game. Johnny Roselli got out of the car, went back in the hotel. I waited maybe 5 to 7 minutes for Charles Nicoletti to come down. When he got down, Mr. Nicoletti got in the car with me and said, let's go. We took off. I said, where to? He said, take me over by the plaza. We went over. We parked. It's drizzling rain. We get out. We're walking around. This is the first time that Charles Nicoletti has even mentioned to me about an abort team. And he asked me.
What did he say?
While we're walking around, Charles Nicoletti asked me. He said, how do you feel about being backup? I said, what do you mean backup? He said, how would you feel about being back up as a shooter for me? I said, what happened to Johnny? What's with Johnny? And he said, Johnny's a little bit paranoid on this. He says, the CA's called the hit off. He said, they don't want the hit to go down. And I said, what'd you say? Chuck's exact words were, fuck him, it's going anyway. And I told him, I said, what about Johnny? He said, well, Johnny will be with me, he says, but he's not going to be a shooter. He said, he doesn't want to go against the orders. He said, he's been told, he flew in here specifically to abort this assassination. And he, well, we was talking, and when I asked him about Johnny Roselli, I said, how come Johnny's not going to be a shooter? He said, well, he doesn't want to go against the orders of the CIA. He said, what he wants is that he wants to call off. He said, he flew in here as an abort team. He said, they flew a plane here specially with him on it to tell us to call it off. And so I asked him at that point, I said, what'd you say? He said, I said, fuck him, it's a go. He said, we're going to do it. He said, Jimmy, he says, you know we can't call this off. Only one man can stop it. He said, and he's here. If he wants us to stop it, he said, he'll notify me. He said, I'm not going on somebody else's word. He said, as poor as it is right now, I have a go. He says from the boss, he says, we're going.
Now, who was the one man that could have stopped it?
There was only one man. Charles Nicoletti did not say his name at that point. He just said the boss. I knew he was referring to. He was referring to Sam Giancana.
Who was he?
Sam Giancana, he was the number 2 man at that time. A lot of people's going to tell you he was number 1, but not true. Tony Accardo was still running things. He turned things over. He had Sam Giancana running all this operation and everything, but Tony Accardo was still the man, and he was still calling the shots on whatever went down, whatever was done.
So anything Giancana said had to at least have the okay of
it. It had to be sanctioned, and it had to come through Tony Accardo.
We're talking about the Chicago crime.
We're talking about only the Chicago area alone.
There's a question right there. To your knowledge, was there involvement of any other crime families? Marcello, Trafficante?
I knew of no other crime family being involved. I heard rumors, but do I know if anybody else was involved? No, I do not know if anybody else was involved.
Okay.
They would have been out of character for them to even notify me about that or anybody else. That only stays up in the higher ranks of the family or the people or the crime family, however you wish to describe it. And when things are handed out, like different departments, different people get different things. Somebody might be into bookmaking. Somebody handles the bookmaking. They pass that out to one party. This party, he distributed amongst the people in the area, because everybody's got a little, what we call territory at that time. And somebody else might be into loan sharking. And you might have somebody running cardie theft. You might have somebody else running chop shops, which eventually I got into, which led to my federal prison sentence. But when it come down to murder contracts, that was a whole new thing.
Wait,
then we had
what?
somebody else that handled prison cardie theft. You might have somebody else running chop shops, which eventually I got into, which led to my federal prison sentence. But when it come down to murder contracts, that was a whole new thing. Then we had somebody else that handled the liquor license. But everything was distributed amongst different people. And whatever moved, including the garbage at that time. Even the garbage was controlled by the outfit. And one party, and this can all be confirmed, I believe he's still alive, he's very old now, but his name was Zaccaro. He had the garbage pickup at that time there. And he was strictly informed that if he picked up another can of garbage, he would be in his next garbage truck going out to the dump. They took over his business, and then he went into the junkyard business. And later on down the road, he became involved in a place out in El Grove Village, a very big place, called Globe Auto Records.
Okay. So
his son's now running.
So once Mr. Nicoletti said, we're going anyway, what happened then?
That's when T.S.
Yeah, start about what time?
This would be approximately 10:30.
Yeah.
This here would be approximately 10:30 a.m. About 10:30 a.m. Mr. Nicoletti told me he asked me to be the backup shooter. And that was the first inkling of anything that I would ever be involved in the assassination itself. Prior to that, I was only know the area and transport weapons.
Was the weather clearing by that time?
It started clearing about 10:45, I believe. The best I can remember, I could be off a few minutes. I know it had been drizzling rain, it was cold, it was damp. Sun didn't come out until after 11 a.m., I believe. But like I say, again, I could be off a few minutes on it. This is a long time ago.
They say the knees go first.
Yeah.
Okay, so the weather's clearing, it's about about 10 or so. Proceed, what happened?
And I told Johnny, I said, yes, I'd be honored. I told Mr. Nicoletti, I said, I would be honored to back you on it. I said, anything you ask, I'll do. And so he told me, and most of this had already been prearranged, beyond my knowledge, but this plaza had been selected. I didn't select it. Someone else already selected it. And he asked me where I thought it would be the best place for him. And I told him the D.T.A.S building, because the D.T.A.S building gave him a better shot with him taking the straight run through at a high rate of speed. And evidently, I'm quite certain that they had all this prearranged on that part of it, as that place is his location, and for him and Johnny as far as that goes, because they already had made an arrangements to be admitted into the building.
Why do you think he checked that with you? Why did he?
Oh, he didn't check it. He just asked my opinion. He has always questioned me about different things. He used me like a sounding board. Like maybe, you're in business or in the office, you might ask one of your people around you, what do you think about this? You don't really care what he thinks. You're just asking for an opinion to see what he thinks. Maybe you overlook something, or maybe somebody's got a better idea than you do at this time of the game.
Could it
And
also be that you had military training and experience when Nicholas?
well, that's possible. He respected me for my knowledge of weapons, my knowledge of knowing terrain, because I'd been in combat. And the first thing you walk into an area, I mean, to you it's a landscape. To me it's terrain. Because if I walk into an ambush, I want to know where the low spots are, the high spots are, where all the coverage is. I got to know where I can get my rear end down so I don't get shot off. You got to have a place to go to ground in a hurry. You cannot afford to stand around and be looking around and wondering, gee, where can I go from here? You're dead. You got to think. That's why you take all this training in the military. You're trained not to think, but to react.
Mr. Nicoletti had never been in the military, had he?
Not to my knowledge. He'd never served a day in the Army or any military service as far as that goes.
Where did you serve?
I was in the Army, 82nd Airborne. I took my basic at Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. I took my AIT at Fort Polk. They screwed up my orders. I went to Fort Sill and laid there for about a week, maybe 10 days. From there, I went to Fort Bragg to go airborne. I won the service in January of 1959.
Where were you assigned?
When I left, we left, I believe it was July the 10th. We went from there to Laos. We was on an operation called Operation White Star. A handful of military advisors were going over to train people in Laos there to do certain operations. At that time, it really wasn't supposed to be any flag.
This ain't talking too damn long. But yeah, this nigga, did he even say, fuck. Yeah, 2 hours is crazy. This nigga is supposed to explain how he said he was on that grass field or whatever and he took the shot. But long story short, he don't even know about the CIA or the Secret Service fucking popping that nigga. Like, it's just crazy. I mean, I don't know. I don't even know sometimes. I just feel sorry for people because so many people, like, they're so wrapped up in this world, bro. It's like, you can't get through the ignorance sometimes, and what people want to believe or what they conjure up, what they experience, and what they come to terms with believing, like, that's what a lot of people are set on, like, whatever, like, even with aliens, and, well, we can't say they're aliens, but that's what we identify, anything that's not from here that we call human, that can talk and walk and have a brain, we call them alien. But even with that, there's people that just won't accept that reality because of either how they developed growing up, their experiences, or how the world and the government kept that and made, you know what I mean? Like, it's like people make their own matrix. Like, you're in your own, like, it's your own matrix. Like, you're not being forcefully, the ideas in your head aren't forced in there, but you're susceptible to bullshit. You're so easily susceptible that they can just put anything in front of you and you can believe it, the news, anything, and then you just be like, oh my God, this is society. When it's not even that. This shit is like right now, millions of people throughout the U.S. are in their homes and they have an idea in their head about what's going on outside of their home. Everybody. Whether it's peaceful and quiet, and you can have an idea that it's probably that area, there's probably some crime. Everybody has an idea of what goes on outside. You know what I mean? And it's kind of crazy. Like, your brain is as big as the universe, nigga. Like, I'll just be thinking sometimes, and I'll just be like, we're here for a reason, and a lot of people don't really understand. Even me, I don't 100% understand why we're here, but nobody's really questioning or wondering. Niggas are just living, and it's like we're in this own matrix where we think you have to live every day, and it's weird. Like we're not even like feeling the moment of being alive. Like there's something that has to be being done, and we're supposed to be working toward, we're supposed to be moving towards something, you know what I mean? And everybody's just going to work, doing the daily job chores, which is cool. Like, not saying that don't do daily things and move forward and go to work and all those things, but I'm saying like on your downtime, or even when you're thinking about things, like, are you thinking about the why, or are you just thinking about what's next, or what, you know what I mean? Like, I wonder if people are really like, I know there's some people out there for sure thinking about a lot of things that are on people's minds, and a lot of people have similar thoughts, and then they share it online and shit. But I just be getting like real deep into like really like the why. Like a lot of people are like afraid to die, afraid to pass away, afraid to even talk about it, and it's like, but the why, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I could just be thinking too deeply into life, but at the same time, why not think too deeply into life? Because we're experiencing it. Like, what the fuck? I don't know, man. I want to push so much peace and positivity, and I want to shed a lot of light on our Lord and Savior, everybody's Lord and Savior, and if they accept Him, and what He can do for you, bro. And a lot of people is just set on like this worldly shit, like money. Of course, you need that to live because of how they've set up, but you really don't need money to live if you think about it. If you know how to cultivate, if you know how to build, which a lot of skills I've been learning over the years, I'm gonna start doing once God heals me and I'm able to move accordingly, you know what I mean, without having to worry about having to connect or do my dialysis or anything. I think I'm gonna go like venture off somewhere like into like the woods or something crazy, like, and just live off the land and just build and shit. Like, 'cause I've been watching a lot of, I don't know if you guys seen, people who watched my previous VODs, I've been watching a lot of like Will Survive and other people like Outdoor Boys. There's a lot of people that, there's a lot of white people, but a lot of people that just been like living off the land, bro, and just that shit just interests me, bro. I feel like getting back to how humans were originally supposed to live is like grounding. I don't know, somehow. Cause like, I don't know, getting caught up in society, I feel like they give us all these things, and if we fall into a comfortability or where like they could take it away from us with a snap, and now we're uncomfortable because we don't have these things, I feel like that's a place where I wouldn't want to even have to mentally come out of. I feel like I should already be able to just overcome those things. And I feel like spiritually that path might help me to overcome society's like grasp for things, because everybody falls into that shit, you know. You just mentally don't accept why you want the things you want, but deep down it's like everybody knows you want those things for other things other than yourself. And the only thing you should want other than yourself is God, for real. Because at the end of the day, that's all you got. At the end of everything, that's all you got. Before everything was here, in the beginning and in the end, that's all we have is God, bro. So how could that not all you want? You know what I mean? I want to get back to finding some aliens though, because that's what I'm on. Ever since I found out that the government's been hiding this shit, bro, all I want to do is push that information, find it out myself, and of course y'all on the journey with me as I'm finding this shit. I think I have a playlist for aliens too.
Science, everything.
And all I hear are these sounds.
What is happening? Maybe it's aliens, dude.
This is nuts. These sightings are so insane that an alien presence has to be here. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at all sorts of footage captured from around the world, strange power grid malfunctions, sounds coming from the sky, and even what some people think is aliens caught on camera. So if you're new to the channel, thanks for joining. Make sure you hit that subscribe button down below and stick around for more cool videos like this. And if you're not new here, welcome back. It's showtime.
Good.
It's the spot. It's the spot. Nah, come back out. Why are you peeking like that? Peeking.
Right there, standing in a hole in the center of the tree, a humanoid figure can be seen clinging to the tree and peeking outwards. Its thin limbs and large head make it look eerily similar to other small beings reported around the world. But here's where it gets even stranger. When the man moves closer, the figure appears to be watching him and just begins to hide, moving backwards into the tree. Many believe this could be proof of a tiny hidden species living right alongside us, only revealing themselves in the most unexpected moments. But skeptics argue this could be a cleverly staged hoax or even AI-generated illusions.
Yeah, I don't know about that one.
What do you think?
He was too calm for that.
A couple of friends are walking over a frozen lake when they see something extremely strange.
Okay, we just found this out here in the middle of the lake.
What the f is it? Oh, did you see it? Slimy? Yeah.
And when touched, it almost appears that one of the slimy objects moves.
So, what the f is it?
Maybe it's aliens, dude. It is alien eggs.
The boys even mentioned maybe it's aliens or alien eggs, as they've never encountered anything like this before.
You don't just see stuff like this, man.
What could they be, and why does it seem that they're all drawn to the center? Also, how did this circle appear in the first place? If you have any idea, be sure to let me know down below.
Yeah.
California.
Oops.
And what about this footage captured amidst the wildfires in California?
Hay forma de que sea una persona. De ninguna manera. Hace demasiado calor. Si fuera una persona, ya habría sido quemada.
A strange figure can be seen standing almost directly in the fire, appearing to be unfazed by the high heats.
Eso no puede ser una persona. Mira lo delgados que también se ven. Algo raro. Eso es algo raro que pasa.
It appears to have abnormally thin limbs if you look closely. So what do you think this could have been? Is this a skinwalker of some sort, Terminator? Or do you think a person would be standing there casually walking around the blaze?
Mm-hmm.
Daddy! What?
There's somebody in the window. Keep it up.
No, there's not.
We heard a ticking.
A strange creature can be seen looking in through the window, and suddenly pulling away from the window at a quick speed.
Don't go, don't go.
He quickly goes outside to check what was looking in his children's window and sees nothing. So was this some sort of prank, maybe a mask on a stick? Or did this guy actually capture some sort of ET watching his kids?
They was about to take that nigga's babies, nigga. Damn, that shit just made my eyes water. That shit crazy. Nigga almost got abducted.
The husband and wife in Sweden capture an extremely strange UFO while riding a four-wheeler through the snowy mountains.
Alina, stäng av för helvete! Stäng av! Alina! Stäng av! För fan, stäng av! Alina! Stäng av! För fan, stäng av! Stäng av för helvete! Stäng av! Alina! Stäng av! För fan, stäng av! Alina!
Did you notice it? The man notices a strange craft hovering behind one of the tall trees in the distance. He yells to his wife to look, but she doesn't see it at first.
Alina! Stäng av för helvete! Stäng av! Alina!
As they get closer, the craft takes off at insanely fast speeds, almost as though it realized people were coming and tries to stay hidden behind the tree lines. But if you watch closely, it appears to keep the same elevation as it moves and flies up over the hills. So what do you think this could have been? Was this a government experiment or an actual alien encounter? And then there's this video. A woman calling her son to surprise him on FaceTime is shocked when her phone suddenly freezes, and this strange video appears for a brief moment. A strange-looking being with pitch-black eyes staring back at her. Whether this was an actual disturbance caught on camera or an AI-generated video is up for debate, but many people in the comments section said this looks like the most legit sighting of an alien to date. And the footage went viral.
Okay, I don't know what's more terrifying, that alien face or the fact that someone or something was able to hijack her phone like that. Either way, it's a reminder that we have no idea who's really watching us online. And that is exactly why I use Surfshark VPN.
Because whether it's hackers, data trackers, or who knows, extraterrestrial surveillance, your online activity is constantly being monitored. Surfshark VPN encrypts your internet connection, meaning no one, not your internet provider, not some shady third party, and hopefully not some creepy intergalactic visitors can see what you're doing online.
But Surfshark isn't just about privacy, it also unlocks region-locked content so that you can access shows and movies from anywhere, like the UK version of Utopia, for example. If you haven't heard of it, it's a conspiracy thriller all about groups uncovering secret messages, right up my alley. But guess what? It's not available in the US. However, with Surfshark, I switched my location to the UK, refreshed my page, and boom, I was watching it instantly.
And the best part is you can try it risk-free right now with their 30-day money-back guarantee. Plus, if you use the link down below in the description, you'll get 4 extra months free on a 2-year plan. Or you can simply visit surfshark.com/mindseat and claim 4 extra months for free.
So remember, whether you're protecting your data from hackers or who knows what, Surfshark has you covered. Click the link in the description now, check it out for yourself, and don't miss out on this sweet deal. And now, let's get back to the strange sightings.
Here we go again. I found it.
He hears a rumbling sound coming from right beneath his feet, which sounds like something being built or possibly a transport system.
I swear it feels like it's right here.
Many believe these are underground cities or government bunkers being built for some sort of oncoming catastrophic event, while others are under the impression that there have been alien civilizations living underneath the Earth's surface for thousands of years.
Some beneath the ocean, some beneath the ground. Almost like something from the movie War of the Worlds. But it might not be as far-fetched as it seems.
Alienígena.
When asked about the word alien, they didn't understand.
Alienígena, não.
But when shown a photograph of what we depict as gray aliens, they recognize it very quickly, and what they said was unsettling.
Mancunabu. Mancunabu é que mora debaixo da terra.
Eu falei, esse aí.
Que se virou formiga, hoje que nós chamamos Una.
Essa formiga também é muito perigoso, né, Buina? Se as pessoas ficar mexendo com ela demais, ela leva o espírito da pessoa para debaixo da terra também.
And then there's this. A couple of hikers found an extremely deep canyon, and while looking down from the cliffs, they noticed something unexplainable and unsettling. Take a look. Deep down in the canyon, so far it will be hard to reach, a strange being can be seen walking out of a small cave and looking around. It also appears that it's pulsing some sort of energy as the video slightly distorts while they film it. So could this be a sighting of what the natives referred to as ant people? Or could it be a Maybe aliens living underground is not just a tall tale, but an actual possibility.
Strange remains have surfaced, and some are way too bizarre to be human.
Everybody's seen this. This has been all over the news. This is what we call the Atacama humanoid. First of all, I don't know what it is. Every scientist has looked at it and says, oh my God, it looks like an alien. Well, perhaps, we don't know.
Just a preliminary examination of this sample is that it is obviously older than just an aborted fetus. It is something that is not human and not primate, but still hominid. How do we explain a hominid that small?
Just keep watching up behind me on that ledge. He's just there. Ah, you see? That was a quick glimpse there.
It's hard to see at first as it barely pops its head up.
Okay. No, he's not there.
And as he's about to stop filming, a tiny humanoid figure can be seen standing upright and then scurrying behind the branches.
Oh, sorry about that. He was doing it. Oh, there he is. Okay. There.
Its movements are quick, almost unnatural. But what's even stranger is how it blends into its surroundings, making it difficult to see unless you're really looking for it. If this is real, what exactly did this guy just stumble across? A species we don't know about? Or could this be one of the small ones that people have whispered about for centuries?
And if that's not strange enough, this next one is really gonna freak you out.
A Ring doorbell camera of a house up on a hill captures something extremely odd. The entire city goes black, and a blue light suddenly appears from above. At first I thought maybe it was a transformer or something that blew up. But if you watch the footage closely in slow motion, multiple lights begin flashing in different areas before the city goes completely dark. And then you can clearly see a blue light shining down from above. It lights up the entire city. So how do you explain that?
So we were in the house and we heard this loud noise, a loud bang outside, and now all the street lights are all flickering.
Every light on the entire street is acting strangely.
That's so weird. The lights are just going crazy.
What the hell? I do not know what in the hell is going on with these street lights. But that is some freaky shit.
Strangely, it's not just the street lights flickering in this video. If you look closely, you'll notice that even the store lights appear to be turning on and off at a rapid pace, kind of like what these people witnessed firsthand.
What is happening? Is this like the calm before the storm? Anyone know what's going on?
Also, many people have experienced strange sounds coming through their car radios while seeing strange lights in the sky.
But flickering lights and radio static is only the beginning. People have been capturing what they believe are aliens on camera.
Take a look at this video recorded 20 years ago before AI videos were a thing.
What the fuck?
These guys heard a strange sound coming from outside of their home, and when they opened the door, a tall gray being of some sort reaches in as if trying to grab one of them. Looking closely at the figure, the face clearly appears to be something non-human. So what do you think? Was this an actual sighting, or did they somehow edit this in the video?
Oh no, that's funny.
In this next video, one believes to have seen a small creature that resembles a gnome in the woods behind her house, and she decides to leave out a toy for it. Take a look at what she captures.
Come here.
The small humanoid creature actually took the toy gnome and walks off with it.
She likes to pull me back.
And of course, many have debated this footage. Some believe it's a prank, while others think this is actual proof of tiny cryptid-like creatures coexisting in our world. So what do you think? Is it possible that these so-called creatures people have spoken about throughout history aren't actually fairies or gnomes, but a strange species of alien beings on our planet?
This right here sort of stole the show. These are two non-human corpses, both at least 1,000 years old, discovered in Peru back in 2017 and then fossilized. These displays were a part of a legitimate Mexican congressional hearing.
What's even stranger, I asked ChatGPT what kind of animal this was with a photo attached, and here's what it said. This image appears to show a figure often associated with extraterrestrial or otherworldly beings rather than any known terrestrial animal. It doesn't resemble any known animal species from Earth. But then there's this footage. Skiers on a ski slope were awestruck when they see this strange glowing light only 20 feet in front of them.
Probably reflection off the snow and the fucking clouds.
And while this does look
sun.
absolutely strange, there may be a plausible explanation. Some say that when the sun hits falling snow just right, it can create what some call a sun candle, a rare phenomenon which has captivated many people over the years. So what do you think? Sun flares or alien portal? Another strange circle was recorded when a man was walking his dog near a frozen lake. Take a look.
So I'm not entirely sure what is going on here.
Strangely, the circle appears to be of perfect symmetry and looks as though it were carved by something in the ice.
So the only real explanation is probably those drones everybody's seeing.
While this is definitely an odd sighting, many believe that it may be caused due to the river bend and moving current possibly forming a swell. But what do you think, Mother Nature or a UFO carving?
As well.
Man, I ain't the only one that's hearing this.
Strange industrial sounds and booms could be heard almost as if there's a large ship creaking above in the sky.
What the is that?
No known source, no sirens, and no explanation. And this isn't the only person that captured this.
What is that?
So I came out to let my dog out to go potty again, and all I hear are these sounds. It's like the whole sky, and it's so very weird.
People have been hearing booms all around the United States as well. So what could this be? But this isn't the end, it's only the beginning, because somewhere out there are more sightings, more mysteries, and the only question left is, will you be watching?
So thanks for joining once again. If you want to see more strange encounters like this, make sure that you're subscribed. And if you've ever seen something that you can't explain, let me know down below in the comments.
I wonder what that is right there. That's pretty interesting.
Hey, Mapuraneng!
Before starting the video, please hit the like and subscribe. I'll appreciate that a lot. The location and date are unknown for this footage, but it shows a huge UFO spaceship flying slowly in mid-thick fog, and it looks like raw video footage. Also, it looks like it's somewhere in a forest where it must be snowing a lot. Well, you can clearly see how that UFO looks. It has typical lights and a big round light in the middle, like the ones you've seen that suck anything from that midlight. But
it's just like, it's a good video, but like, is it too good? Is it too good? I don't know what you I don't know. I can't 100% say like technology is too good nowadays, bro. Like, it's so fucked up. Like, that looks too good to be like, that's like like when you think UFO, like, nigga, somebody could create that in their head, like some shit off fucking Halo. Like, I don't know what you think, like. Cause it could be real, bro. And that's the fucked up part. Like, if we watching all these videos and all the real shit sneaking in to the fake shit, and we're just passing it by like, because they're real. So some of this shit gotta be real. You know what I mean? It's just like, which ones are the real footage and who's just bullshitting? Because niggas ain't even saying nothing. They're just watching this. Nobody's saying nothing. Like, this is, bro, it just makes me think it's fake. There's not enough energy for a human being to see this that had never seen it before and record it and not say nothing, bro. Unless that's just a nigga thing, but there's no words, nigga. Like, listen.
But one thing is different about this UFO. It looks thicker than any other craft we've seen. Others mostly look very slim and resemble the same shape as this one. But as you know, they come in very unpredictable shapes, so we cannot say anything for sure. Well, let me know what you think about this footage, because I am not sure if it's real or not. This next footage
fake,
is
bro.
probably from San Francisco, from the Bay Area, recorded on February 15th, 2025. You can see multiple orbs or drones with red pulsating lights, and at the end, they drop a small blue object. One drops, and another one gets back from the ground to a different one.
Niggas dropping care packages, bro. Like, what the fuck? That's man-made shit. That has to be the government, bro. When I see shit like this, I just think the government is doing shit like this. Why are the aliens posted like this shit? Oh shit. Look, these niggas give it. Oh hell no. That shit just morphed into something.
Well, as you must know, a lot of people have recorded similar looking objects, and the behavior of those is mostly like orbs. But these are strange because they are dropping something. And if I am not wrong, those blue objects must have their own free will as they are getting back up and down, separating themselves from those red objects. It's possible they could just be man-made objects, but I am getting lost because I have seen a similar plasmoid orb video. Well, you guys must have an idea of what it could be, so just let me know in the comments.
That's man-made
This
for
next
sure.
video is from Roswell, New Mexico, the most popular place for UFO incidents. But this one has been quite popular since 2023, and I think multiple people recorded it. You can see a very interesting shape of a silver object, and if I am not wrong, it is shining very brightly because of the reflection from the sun. Well, I've seen this footage before and tried to search for it. A lot of people posted about a similar object, and it looks oval-shaped if I'm not wrong. This is very interesting, and at first glance, the light coming from it could be from itself. But the object looks very clear and silver, so it's possible that it's just reflecting sunlight. In my opinion, it's a very unique and clearest looking UFO.
Getting
And
tired,
as you know,
boy.
Roswell is just popular for these things. So let me know,
Eyes
what
watering.
is your opinion on this UFO clip? This next footage is from 2018, from Washington. Looking at it, it seems very suspicious and fake, but people were saying it could be real. So take a look.
Okay, look at that, y'all. Anything regular about that?
Well, if anyone saw that kind of massive thing just rotating in the middle of the city, there should be too much chaos. I'm not sure if it's real or fake.
Why did the video sound like this nigga talking was in the city with traffic, but in the video it looks like he's in the mountains? Look at that shit.
So let me know, what is your opinion on this UFO clip?
Listen.
This next footage is from 2018, from Washington.
How far away from the city
it seems very suspicious and fake, but people were saying it could be real. So take a
I know a
look.
nigga when he's out of city limits when I see it. But it sound like he's. He could be by a freeway.
Well, if
He
anyone
could be
saw
by a
that kind
freeway.
of massive thing just rotating in the
But I
middle
don't
of the
know, the
city,
car sounded a
there
little
should
too
be
slow.
too much chaos. I'm not sure if it's real or fake because it somewhat looks like CGI, but sometimes things we think are CGI turn out to be real, so it's very hard to recognize these days.
Very
but
hard.
if you have any information on this, be sure to drop a comment.
Ew.
This next footage is from last night's live news.
Hey, why do only one nigga be having like? I need like, you know when it's gonna be real? When there's hundreds of videos of it. That's when you know it's gonna be real for sure. When you see a ship from a video over a major city and there's only one video of it, I'm always gonna be skeptical. Not to say that some of these videos aren't real, but for the ones that are just sitting there stationary and just sitting there, you're like, oh my god, what's this in the sky? Everybody's just only one video. I'm skeptical. But for the videos that niggas just catch a glimpse of shit, I believe that shit because like, oh my, you barely caught that. Like, not everybody's gonna have a video of something just dashing in the sky and coming out of view. Like, you just happen to catch it in your camera. But the shit that just be posted there, like that last shit, that shit don't make sense to me. Niggas just want a clout.
Broadcast in Oklahoma. While mid-broadcast, something was flying very fast, and the live camera captured it. But this time, the news reporter himself acknowledged the object and said very interesting things about it flying in the sky.
Snow, in addition to all of that, start out outside today where it was actually a warmer day than we've been seeing and one of the warmest that we're going to have on the entire 7-day forecast moving forward. Wonder what that is right there. That's pretty interesting. Moving really fast. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at what we've got here. Just interesting stuff flying around the sky. There's the live view from...
Well, I like how the object caught the attention of the reporter. It's possible that the reporter thought it must be a UFO because it was fast and appeared suddenly.
He
if
didn't
the
say
media
that.
starts acknowledging these things, then I think the world will acknowledge
He
them
said
too.
interesting
But let me
things in
know,
the sky.
What
He
was
didn't
that
say
thing?
UFO, nigga.
A bird or a UAP? This next video is just crazy. From the way the place looks, it could be from Antarctica. Can you even imagine something like that hovering and flying? That thing looks like nothing I've seen before. Also, it blasts a green aura or wave, which is visible in green color. And there was a saucer-shaped UFO following it. And if the sound is real, then it is making a very high-frequency sound.
Yeah, yet again, bro. Why is there only one video of this? This shit is fake, bro. Look at this shit. Is the water even moving? This shit, fake as shit. There's nothing moving in the background.
Well, again, I'm not sure about the authenticity of the video, but I have seen it circulating on the internet before, so I thought I should share it with you guys to know the reality of this video. But even if there's a 1% chance that this is real, why isn't it big news? Also, the place looks like Antarctica, and you must know what kind of theories people have about Antarctica. So
It's
anything is
Iceland
possible.
around.
Well, tell me in the comments what you think. This next clip is
Impossible.
from New Mexico again. While on a flight, on American Flight 2292, someone recorded this crazy clip where a cigar-shaped UFO passed very close to the plane, moving very abruptly and spinning. Well, I think the footage is really good because both the plane and the cigar UFO are visible. The most important and interesting thing is that you must have also observed how these cigar UFOs move in a very aggressive manner, spinning like they're just going to fall, similar to how rockets or satellites spin in space. And in most cases, these cigar UFOs act the same way. What if it's possible that they are fourth-dimensional beings, and gravity doesn't exist for them here? Well, the possibilities are endless. But let me know, have you seen that behavior in cigar UFOs before? This next video is from Indonesia, where residents of Purbalingga, Indonesia reported seeing floating fireballs. That didn't make any sense, so they stopped their bikes to take a look. But that fireball was floating and moving around the trees.
Anjing, mabur anjing, woi, woi.
Well, I've seen orbs flying, spheres flying, even disc-shaped UFOs. But what is that fireball? What is really happening? Is nature playing a prank on us? Or are natural things coming to life? Well, no one could explain that phenomenon because we cannot call everything a UFO. But let me know, is this some kind of natural phenomenon or something otherworldly? Tell me in the comments. So that's all for this video. If you like it,
right, mate, you should know me by now. That I very rarely, if ever, do like proper clickbait. I'll obviously put titles up that try to entice you, makes you think, oh, I've got to watch this. Yeah, that's rule number 1 of YouTube, yeah? When you see me put breaking news on, it means breaking news. I'm slightly peeved off about this. I'm really slightly peeved off about this. And I've only been covering, I mean, I've obviously believed in aliens and UFOs like since I can remember, but I've only been covering it on my channel since January 2024. So I dread to think what it's like for you guys that have been covering this and looking into this for years, shouting to the top of your roof, right? How we've just been lied to all the time. It's so blatantly obvious. Yeah? All these times when we're watching these live feeds of NASA and scratching our heads saying, why haven't they come forward? Why are they saying that they haven't seen anything? Why are they saying that they don't know a single thing about these UAP? UAPs? Really? What does that stand for? Fuck off, mate. You've been known for years. And now all of a sudden, because the pressure's on, okay, because of Marco Rubio
Fuck your shit,
and
nigga.
Representative Tim Burchett, right? And the Freedom of Information Act requests and the 2020 Intelligence Authorization Act and David Grush and whistleblowers coming forward, left, right, centre, willy-nilly, to mention now that I suppose Trump and Elon have been putting the pressure on a little bit, but lo and behold, all of a sudden, NASA, oh yeah, I have found actually, mate. Yeah, I found this CD of these UAPs. Sorry, I thought we showed you. Come on now. So it's annoying when you watch these live feeds and it just cuts off when something like this anomaly appears up in space. I even mentioned it on the other day in this video that I'm going to show you. This one here. Let me show you quickly which one it is. One here, but straight after this I'm going to show you what NASA's just released, and oh my god, it's going to blow your mind. I know I've said that a few times before, but mate, it's the best reveal, like one in particular is the best reveal you're ever going to see, and I've got more examples, mate, because what's happened now is it raises so many more questions and so many more doors, which I'm going to explain in a second, but this is the one that I showed you the other day, okay? Check this out. So here we go. 2 bright coloured orbs just start appearing here now. And watch this one. This one goes up and then it blinks out and comes back the other direction. Whereas the brightest one carries on to the left. And then, lo and behold, the live feed just cuts. Because they don't want us to see this stuff. They don't want us to see, for some reason, they don't want us to see. They cut it off. So let me show you what NASA has just released. And guys, I just want to say thank you so much for sending me these clips, man, especially over on X, where you've been sending me them left, right, center. So many people have sent me this one like a few hours. This is what I'm saying. It's breaking news, hot off the press. Okay, NASA releases ISS footage that they didn't want us to see. UAP heading toward Earth. Watch and decide. But hang on, mate, not just that. This is remarkable. This is absolutely remarkable. Shout out to Shazza UK, the bearded UFO guy, Gaz, Russ Kernoff, Mate, thank you. Look at this.
We need to talk about this. As part of the Trump-Musk investigation into government secrets, NASA has been forced to release files from the ISS related to UAP phenomena. I'm just going to let these play here. Pictures too. I'll replay them. What do you guys think of these?
Cloaking tech that we've been saying for ages, mate. Cloaking tech. So everybody's been out there saying it's a load of rubbish, this and this and this and that. It's bloody balloons and swamp gas. Get out. Sorry. This... I've tried to cover it a little bit, right? What I'm trying to get out is this has slightly annoyed me. But I'm torn. Because I'm super happy and super annoyed because of they've just been thinking of us as complete and utter dickheads, right? Or trying to portray us like that, like we're stupid. But clearly, we see things. We know what's right, what's wrong. Let's go back a little bit and carry on. Look at this thing, mate. Look at this thing, straight from the Flight of the Navigator, man. Look at this, and keep your make a mental note, because I've got other videos I'm going to show you, this is what I'm talking about, right? Now that they've come forward and said, okay, look, here's some stuff that we've seen, it now raises the question, okay, so what about 10 years ago when this happened? Or what about the live feed that you turned off here? And what about this one? And what about this one? You know, okay, let's just go through them, okay? Because I've got some fantastic ones to show you guys. All right, some of you've probably seen, some of you haven't. Okay, no particular order. There's going to be some okay ones, some amazing ones, some okay. It's just going to be back and forth. Okay, I'm going straight off the top of the dome here. Right, look at this, 2020. We're going left to right. This is what I've collected, left to right. Bear with me, mate, because there are some incredible ones. And remember about the shapes and the weird ones that you've seen, okay? Remember, because it's important. Look at this. So this was in 2020. Now we can go to them and say, okay, so what was this thing we saw 5 years ago? Right? Now, I understand that there's going to be a lot of videos out there which are strange things that maybe can be explained like naturally or something like that, you know, or a glitch of some sort. But not all the ones that I'm going to show you, mate, especially the last one, which is absolutely mind-blowing. Okay? We get a little zoom out in a second as well. Here we go. So this is what they're seeing in the sky. Nobody knows what this is. Is there any answers? No answers. And then it just vanishes. So is that the cloaking device that we've just seen that NASA's released? The cloaking device just vanishes. And mate, when I say cloaking device, you saw it. That wasn't sort of like, you know, the Predator cloaking where you can just sort of see it, right? This just vanished, gone, right? Out of there. Now look at this one, mate. We're up in the ante now. We're up in it, right? What is this? Orb UFO caught on camera aboard ISS. Holy moly. Remember that shape that I showed you? Not one, like one of them. Look at this.
It worked well in that. You can see the arm in the lower right corner of the picture, which was a position that Anna had put it in to assist in our station keeping task.
Look at that, mate. Okay? And look what they do. It's live. They see it. And they go, oh God, what is that? 2 points. Remember that shape. And now watch this.
The people
Oh,
who
it
brought
goes
that
to a
satellite
different
us,
scene. Like,
left it in absolutely
camera seems to immediately cut
perfect,
away.
Position with regard to its rotation and lack
They've
of
known
rotation.
this for ages. And now the pressure's on, and this one is incredible. Now, on that NASA released video, okay, we saw some sort of like, what I would say, it's not really a cigar shape, it was more of just a rectangle, right? But maybe from a distance, this is what they're referring to as the cigar shapes. Look at this. This is a close-up of a cigar-shaped UAP, and then again, what happens? They cut the feed. Look, watch.
This is a live NASA feed. And then this one taking pictures of the ionosphere. Then it zooms on the North Pole. I don't know if it's auto-tracking something. And then these come into sight. Don't
No
know
propulsion.
what they are, and then it zooms in really close on one.
Look.
I don't know
Look at
what makes what. Oh yeah, there it is. What?
Oh, sorry. That was unexpected. Didn't mean to see a UAP right now. Live stream cut. Bang.
What the heck was that?
And again, remember that shape, alright? Listen to what this guy says straight at the very beginning of this video, as soon as it starts, okay? These two are flipping right out because this is a live stream, and yet again, the live stream cuts. Now, you don't see it cut, given. The title does say the feed cuts off. You don't see that in the video, okay? So maybe they're just using it for dramatic effect, but this is what they see.
That thing came out of the earth.
That thing came out of the earth, he said.
Oh, I'm recording the. Oh my.
Listen.
That thing came out of the earth. Yo, I'm recording the. Oh my god, that's so fucking weird. Then you're going up. You know. What's it look like on my computer? Is it? Can you go to my thing and see if it's showing? Cause it's gonna be better there. What the fuck is that? Oh my god. Is it showing there? Oh, take it off the screen for a second, okay? I'm gonna come over there. Can you see it from my phone? Oh, it's freaking me out. Yeah, take it off the live stream. Take it off.
This one is quite, like, this one's quite funny, to be fair, this next one, alright? Because they see this thing blatantly up in space, hanging around, the live stream just finishes, and then all of a sudden it comes back up and this thing's gone. Check it out. Still don't know what this was. At first I thought it was a satellite. But then the feed just stops. Look. Oh, hang on. Stand by. What? What? Is that like a pre-recorded video before the UFO was there? And they're going, oh, like, just do the loop. Just do the loop. Yeah, loop it. What? So this is what I'm saying. These are the questions that we've got to get this archive now back to them and say, okay, we'll explain this.
Wait, that wasn't even the same part of the Earth, nigga. I'm not tripping. Look at the Earth. It's not even the same Earth. Look.
Still don't know what this was. The feed pre-recorded.
Look, that's not even the same Earth.
Video before the UFO was there, and they're going, oh, like, just do the loop. Just do the loop. Yeah, loop it. What? So this is what I'm saying. These are the questions that we've got to get this archive now back to them and say, okay, we'll explain this then. Or are we still stupid? Are we still imagining things? Are we still making things up? Now this one, mate, this one just shows the technology that we've got, that we tried to inject towards these UAPs. But we underestimated the power and the nimbleness of these UAPs. Like, check this out, mate. Real UFO footage from NASA.
This footage, captured by NASA's Discovery Space Shuttle on September 15, 1991, shows an extraterrestrial vehicle dodge an electronic weapon fired from Earth. Here, we see the craft slowly crossing the frame. There's a bright flash, and then it makes an abrupt right angle turn and flies off. Moments after the turn, we see the shot fired across space where the craft had just been. This footage...
What I want to know is where that bloody rocket or laser went to, mate. How, like, wow. Wow. And listen to this guy, right? Listen to this guy. NASA Administrator
Crazy.
Bill Nelson. Listen to what he has to say.
If you ask me, do I believe there's life in a universe that is so vast that it's hard for me to comprehend how big it is? My personal answer is yes. The top takeaway from the study is that there is a lot more to learn. The NASA independent study team did not find any evidence that UAP have an extraterrestrial origin. But we don't know what these UAP are.
I think what we need is more money, more contributions. Thank you so much. And then I think we'll find out.
Come on, mate. Come on. When you know and you've seen things like a cigar-shaped thing just disappear into nothing.
Yeah.
And you said you don't know that they're not alien tech? Or you just don't know where they're coming from, what they are? Come on, man. Really? You must have a bit more of an idea of what you're leading on to, right? Now, this one has just come out on the net. I've been sent it to me so many times. Look at this UFO film by NASA again. But watch again the what this thing does. It's incredible, guys.
This footage was captured by NASA. A small object enters from the right side of the screen and travels slowly across the curvature of the Earth. Initially, some thought this was just debris or a satellite, but as it reached the middle of the screen, it suddenly stops and seems to hover for a moment. The object remains stationary for several seconds. Then, without warning, it suddenly rises upward. After rising and then hovering again, the object suddenly moves off at high speed to the left of the screen.
Mate, like that.
This footage
I
was
don't think we
captured.
understand as well how quick that is. That is supersonic speed, right? Well, maybe not supersonic, but that's quick, right? Don't take me literally when I say supersonic and stuff like that. You just got to take it with a pinch of salt. I mean, maybe it is supersonic, I don't know, but what I'm just saying, it's bloody quick. Now, this video here, right? I translated it. This is amazing. The translation goes, one of the most famous UFO footage in pre-internet era, the case of multiple UFO sightings when the Columbia Space Shuttle mission STS-75 released the TSS-1R satellite tether into Earth orbit. February 25th, 1996, NASA denied this by calling the appearance ice particles and space debris. Now watch this, because you know, this is what I'm saying, where they think that we're stupid. You know what space debris looks like. You know what ice looks like. Now, ice isn't stamp, produce, stamp, produce, stamp, produce, identical shapes, yeah? Yeah, maybe like a frost, like a single, like snowflake has its own sort of pattern, but these things, mate, really? Look at this. These things just look the same, going in different directions, different sizes, different speeds.
Franklin, we see a long line.
Look at this circle with a little bite out of it, right?
A couple of star-like things and a lot of things.
Circle, little bite out
in
of
the
it.
foreground. Can you describe what you're seeing?
Well, the long line is a tether, and there's a little bit of debris that
Circle with a little bite out of it. Maybe half cloaked right now.
kind of flies with us, and it's illuminated by the sun at such low angle. So there's a lot of stray light, and it's getting washed out quickly. But Claude is trying to do a quick, good job here adjusting the cameras.
Copy that.
In that description by the crew, this is the tether in the satellite. The satellite with approximately 12 miles of tether still attached to it.
Debris.
Columbia and the
Debris.
satellite are now just passing over.
It's just debris. Come on now. Come on now. Right? Remember I told you about looking out for that shape? The little orb thing, yeah? Okay? Remember the colour of it? Just maybe it's not identical, but look at this. One of the best UFO sightings in space happened during one of the space shuttle missions. This is from the X channel, UFO Mania. This is amazing. Look at this.
Lots clear. 7, go ahead. I'll tell you at 10 o'clock high. This is Houston. Say again, 7? I'll call you at 10 o'clock high.
We have an unidentified flying object.
Oh, it's high, but appears to be tumbling. It just seems to be tagging along with us.
Is it strange that these orbs always come in pairs or threes? Eh? What are these things doing?
Go ahead. I'll tell you at 10 o'clock high. This is Houston.
Mate, like, what? How many times have we seen those things in the sky, man? Isn't that amazing? NASA, thank you so much for releasing them after all this time. But you only did it because, obviously, the pressure got too much. So what does this mean for the UFO communities? Is this part of the disclosure? Is it starting to really happen? Is it going to be something that they just keep on drip feeding? But
Of
what I'm
course.
happy about is that finally we can say, look, now they've admitted it. They can come forward and say, look, this is it. Now, I've not actually looked into what they've said about this. I don't know whether they're just saying, we're yet to understand what it is. These are man-made, or, they're not actually saying that they're alien. They've literally just released the footage, as far as I'm aware, okay? I just had to jump on it as soon as I can. But I'll keep in the loop. But please also, mate, I've been collecting so much cool footage that you have sent me. So thank you so much. So I am going to be covering so much more of this. I can't wait. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it. And if you've got any information
Appreciate you, brother.
you want to send it me on X or my emails. Thank you again. And also on my Facebook page, Casper Site Space UFO. Thank you so much. This is exciting. It's exciting. I'm going to go and chill now. Right? I'm going to go and chill for a little bit. Take care. Bye-bye.
Yes, sir. Oh, yeah, man. I'm tired as fuck, bro. I appreciate you guys for watching, bro. I'm gonna get back on tomorrow because I love doing this. I don't watch videos like this without you guys. I don't watch them without coming on here and streaming it and showing my people who come in and watch me on my VODs after I post them. And I appreciate everybody who shows any type of support, bro. I really do. And this is all really just for us as people. It's not even just for me. It's just for us to gain the information together, and we learning together. And sometimes we have fun, and sometimes we gain knowledge, and sometimes we learn about the Lord and whatever comes with it. You know what I mean? But if you made it this far, I really appreciate you. And I'm gonna try my best to be on tomorrow because I really want to get back into learning more about this stuff. And like I said, I don't do it. Let's get on here. So appreciate you guys again. Till next time.